Tonight, we venture into a hidden history that challenges everything we've been told. Prepare to expand your mind and embrace a deeper truth that can transform your view of humanity's origins. This wisdom comes from the ancient, star-faring Pleiadians, who share their knowledge to help awaken our collective consciousness. Stories of Earth's first settlers, of civilizations far older and more advanced than mainstream teachings admit. Tonight, we invite you on a voyage through time to uncover these lost truths. The Pleiadians have come to Earth not just as observers, but as messengers, bringing knowledge that was once known, but later buried beneath centuries of forgotten history. This message is filled with ancient wisdom, so take your time, absorb it fully, and return to it whenever needed. Keep an open mind because what you're about to hear could change your perspective forever. Long before recorded history, Earth was home to highly advanced civilizations. Many of these beings resembled humans, but here's the twist. They weren't originally from Earth. Every ancient culture has a version of the same story. Their ancestors came from the stars. Advanced beings from distant star systems arrived millions of years ago, and among them were the pre-Adamites, the first star seeds. These early visitors belonged to great civilizations like Atlantis and Lemura, home to beings from the Lyra star system and the Pleiades. But they were more than just explorers. They were terraformers. They prepared Earth for life by bringing advanced humanoid ancestors of Neanderthals and Homo erectus, paving the way for modern humans. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Modern Homo sapiens didn't evolve naturally. They were the result of genetic modifications by an advanced race, the Anunnaki. These beings weren't just extraterrestrials. They were a highly intelligent fifth-dimensional species with extraordinary technological and biological knowledge. Some of the Anunnaki came from the Sirius star system, while others settled on Nibiru, a rogue planet with an elongated orbit through our solar system. Around 445,000 years ago, factions of the Anunnaki arrived on Earth, not for exploration, but for a critical resource, monatomic gold. But why gold? According to ancient records, the ruling High Council of Nibiru sought to repair their planet's atmosphere by grinding monatomic gold into a fine powder. They could create a protective shield to regulate their planet's climate. This substance wasn't just a resource, it was a key to their survival and even their spiritual evolution. The Anunnaki were unlike anything Earth had seen. They were tall, powerful, and incredibly intelligent, possessing an unusual mix of human and reptilian genetics. But what made them truly remarkable was their longevity. Their telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of DNA strands, never degraded like those of humans. This allowed their cells to divide indefinitely, keeping them young for tens of thousands of years. Their secret: they consumed the bread of life, a mystical food made from white monatomic gold powder, and they drank the wine of life infused with Anunnaki stem cells. This sustained their energy and extended their lifespans beyond human comprehension. But despite their advanced wisdom and power, the Anunnaki were far from perfect. They were a society built on strict hierarchies, dominant egos, and internal conflicts. They saw themselves as gods, superior beings with a divine right to rule. Their rivalries often led to intense power struggles shaping the course of history on Earth. At the heart of their story was their ruling royal family led by King Anu. His two sons, Enlil and Enki, played pivotal roles in shaping humanity's fate. These beings, often described in myths as the Shining Ones, descended from the heavens, performing miracles, guiding civilizations, and altering the destiny of mankind. The legends of gods walking among humans, wielding incredible abilities, and ruling over ancient civilizations. These aren't just myths, they are echoes of a forgotten past, a history far deeper than we have been led to believe. And this is just the beginning of the true story of Earth's origins. The Anunnaki were meticulous record keepers. They documented everything from their arrival on Earth to their technological advancements using clay and stone tablets. These records offer an astonishing glimpse into Earth's deep antiquity, stretching back hundreds of millions of years. However, much of this knowledge was lost after the catastrophic Great Flood around 12,000 years ago. Massive layers of sediment buried these ancient records, concealing the secrets of humanity's true past. Even today, tens of thousands of these tablets have been unearthed, yet only a fraction have been translated. And among those that have, many are misinterpreted or missing crucial details. But the stories revealed in the Anunnaki tablets are nothing short of mind-blowing. They answer age-old mysteries, challenge mainstream historical narratives, and unveil details that historians once thought impossible. For instance, these ancient texts describe the Anunnaki's interstellar voyage from Nibiru to Earth. They recount their journey through the inner planets, their encounter with the hammered bracelet, the asteroid belt, and their dramatic landing on Earth. The level of technological detail in these texts is astonishing, far beyond what ancient civilizations were supposedly capable of. The tablets even mention advanced communication systems, describing devices that resemble modern LCD screens and navigational computers. The Anunnaki used these to transmit messages back to Nibiru, ensuring a safe passage through the asteroid belt. Their ships were equipped with nuclear technology capable of clearing obstacles along their journey. These ancient discoveries force us to rethink everything we know about history. The Anunnaki weren't just visitors. They were the architects of civilization. They built the foundations of what we now call human history, leaving behind a legacy that still intrigues and inspires the first visitor, Alalu. Now, let's go back to the very beginning, to the first recorded Anunnaki to set foot on Earth. His name was Alalu, a renegade ruler from Nibiru. Alalu's journey to Earth was not planned. He was fleeing from a power struggle on his home planet. In a desperate attempt to secure his survival and prove his worth, he hijacked a spacecraft and set course for an unexplored world, Earth. After a long interstellar journey, Alu's ship crash-landed in a vast ocean near what is now known as Mesopotamia. Ancient records refer to this land as Eden, a name that would later echo in religious texts. Alalu stepped onto this alien world alone. Equipped with advanced technology, he wore a protective suit and a breathing helmet shaped like an eagle's beak. With no intelligent life in sight, he scanned the atmosphere and water, confirming that Earth was habitable. But what he found next changed everything. Alalu discovered that Earth was rich in gold, a resource the Anunnaki desperately needed. This single discovery set off a chain of events that would reshape human history. Excited by his findings, Alalu sent a transmission back to Nibiru, reporting his discovery. The Nibirian High Council wasted no time. They organized a reconnaissance mission to confirm his claims. And among the elite team of explorers sent to Earth was a key figure, Enki, also known as Aa, the first Anunnaki city, Eridu. It took just 6 days after their arrival for the Anunnaki to establish their first settlement on Earth. Using their highly advanced technology, they built a flourishing city, a sanctuary in an unexplored land. They called it Eridu, meaning home in the far away. This city, located in southern Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, became the first metropolis of the Anunnaki. Today, it is recognized as the oldest city on Earth. And here's something fascinating. After 6 days of intense labor, the Anunnaki rested on the 7th, a detail that closely mirrors the creation story found in religious texts. Coincidence? Maybe not. Beyond Earth, the expansion of the Anunnaki Empire, but Eridu was just the beginning. The Anunnaki mission expanded quickly. They built mining operations to extract gold. They established spaceports for interstellar travel. They even created a way station on Mars, a critical outpost for their expeditions. Their existence on Earth wasn't just about survival. It was about domination and innovation. Masters of science, engineering, and the unknown, the Anunnaki were more than explorers. They were scientists, engineers, and even masters of the mystical arts. They had deep knowledge of physics, chemistry, astronomy, and agriculture. They used cutting-edge technology, including mysterious artifacts known as Me's and Tablets of Destinies. These devices functioned like quantum computers, allowing them to plan and execute their massive operations with incredible precision. Their engineering skills were unmatched. They could reshape mountains with laser-like accuracy and construct massive cities without waste. And if that wasn't enough, they also understood the secrets of longevity and genetic enhancement, a knowledge that would later play a crucial role in the creation of modern humans. So, what really happened on Earth after the arrival of the Anunnaki? And how did their advanced knowledge shape our civilization? That's what we'll uncover next. Anunnaki engineering, the builders of megalithic wonders. The Anunnaki weren't just visitors. They were master architects and engineers. Their technology allowed them to construct massive cities, spaceports, and temples with unbelievable precision and speed. Unlike human builders, the Anunnaki possessed ultrasonic, anti-gravity, and molecular manipulation technology. They used crystal beams and diamond-cutting tools to shape stone with microscopic precision. Ultrasonic levitation to lift and transport multi-ton megaliths effortlessly. Advanced stone softening techniques, allowing them to mold rocks as if they were liquid before hardening them into perfect geometric forms. This is why many ancient structures remain a mystery to modern archaeologists. Even with today's technology, we cannot replicate the precise cuts, impossibly tight stone fittings, or the sheer scale of these constructions, monuments that defy time and logic. The Anunnaki mining empire led to the establishment of breathtaking megalithic sites around the world. These were not mere dwellings. They were monuments of power engineered to withstand the forces of nature and the passage of time. Some of the most enigmatic and colossal structures linked to the Anunnaki include Mount Moriah, Jerusalem, Baalbek, Lebanon, Giza, Egypt, Nimrud, Iraq. These weren't just temples or ceremonial sites. They were spaceports designed to handle the extreme pressure of Nibiru's gold-transporting cargo vessels. Some of the stones used weighed thousands of tons and were precisely placed without mortar, an engineering feat that still confounds experts. But the most mind-blowing part, the Anunnaki did not just leave behind structures. They left a legacy of knowledge, power, and mystery, the truth hidden in religious texts. The echoes of the Anunnaki influence can be found in ancient religious texts. Stories from the Bible, Quran, Vedas, Torah all contain traces of Anunnaki history. But over time, the original accounts were altered, edited, and rewritten to fit different agendas. One of the clearest examples of this is the Hebrew Bible. In ancient Sumerian records, the original term for God was Elohim, which is plural, meaning gods, not a single deity. Yet translations later misrepresented this, concealing the original truth. There were multiple powerful beings shaping Earth's history. Consider this verse. Let us create man in our image. Who is us? Who is our? The answer found in the original Sumerian texts is clear: the Anunnaki. These were not metaphors for divine forces. They were real physical beings led by King Anu and his two sons, Enki and Enlil. The Anunnaki role in human creation. The most controversial revelation from ancient tablets is that the Anunnaki didn't just create humans. They actively shaped and guided our evolution. They engineered human DNA to accelerate development. They taught early civilizations, advanced sciences, agriculture, and metallurgy. They left behind sacred knowledge, some of which is still encoded in ancient texts. But not all Anunnaki agreed on the fate of humankind. One of the most powerful figures, Enlil, deeply disliked humans. He saw them as inferior, noisy, and uncontrollable. He often opposed their advancement and even attempted to wipe them out in certain instances of history. But his brother Enki was different. He believed in human potential, often acting as a protector and teacher. This rivalry between the Anunnaki leaders shaped the course of human civilization, setting the stage for ancient myths, gods, and even religious conflicts that would last thousands of years. So, what happens next? If the Anunnaki shaped early human history, what else have we misunderstood? And more importantly, are they still influencing us today? The answers may be hidden beneath our feet, buried in ancient texts, or even encoded in our DNA. Let's uncover the next chapter, the Anunnaki conflict. Enlil versus Enki. Humanity's fate in the balance. When we closely examine the ancient Sumerian tablets, a shocking truth emerges. The gods of old were not a singular, all-powerful deity, but multiple beings with distinct personalities, rivalries, and agendas. One of the most significant conflicts in these records is the ongoing struggle between Enlil and Enki, two powerful Anunnaki leaders whose opposing views on humanity shaped the course of history. Enlil, the tyrant of the skies. Enlil, the son of Anu, was a strict authoritarian ruler who saw humans as little more than insignificant disposable beings. He distrusted and resented humanity, often regarding them as noisy, troublesome creatures. This Enlil, the domineering and wrathful figure, closely resembles the vengeful God of the Old Testament, the one who ordered the destruction of entire cities, wiping out men, women, and children, sent devastating floods to exterminate mankind, saying, "I regret creating humans. Let them perish." He was not a God of mercy, but a ruler who saw humans as a mistake, a failed experiment that needed to be erased. Enki, the benevolent creator. Enki, on the other hand, was radically different, a brilliant scientist and geneticist. He viewed humans with compassion. Unlike his brother, Enki did not see humans as mere workers. He saw potential. He is the figure in religious texts often associated with wisdom, kindness, and enlightenment. Whenever the Bible speaks of a forgiving and loving God, it is likely reflecting Enki's influence, not Enlil's. But this duality in divine behavior has puzzled religious scholars for centuries. Why does the biblical God switch between love and wrath so dramatically? The answer lies in the altered and mistranslated texts that merged multiple Anunnaki figures into one confused narrative. The creation of mankind, a genetic experiment, the most critical piece of rewritten history, the true origin of humanity. According to the Sumerian tablets, the Anunnaki did not create humans as an act of divine will. They did so out of necessity. After 100,000 years of mining Earth's resources, the e.g., lower-ranked Anunnaki laborers revolted, refusing to endure the endless toil. This forced the Anunnaki High Council on Nibiru to find a solution. The answer: create a new species to take over the labor. The birth of Adamu and Tiamat Enki. Alongside his consort Ninmah, also called Ninti, a master geneticist, and their son, Ningishita, was assigned the task. They genetically modified Earth's native primates, mixing Anunnaki DNA with the most adaptable local species. The result, the first primitive worker, a being designed for obedience and endurance. The first successful model, named Adamu, was created in a region called Eden, a term that originally meant enclosed garden in Sumerian texts. Shortly after, Adamu's genetic material was used to create a female companion, Tiamat, later misinterpreted in biblical stories as Eve. Together, they formed the first human pair, the prototypes of modern Homo sapiens. At first, humans were genetically restricted, designed with a single strand of DNA, limiting their intelligence and keeping them the docile workers. Their purpose was clear: to serve the Anunnaki, obey orders, and expand the mining operations. The divine spark, Enki's rebellion against the gods. But Enki saw more in humans than just laborers. Unlike his fellow Anunnaki, he viewed them as his children, not mere tools. He began to teach them, guiding them towards something greater. Then came Enki's greatest and most rebellious act. He secretly gifted humanity with the divine spark. This hidden genetic enhancement allowed humans to think independently, question their existence, unlock higher consciousness and self-awareness. It was this act that truly separated humans from animals, the ability to reason, create, and evolve beyond their original programming. Enlil's fury and the expulsion from Eden. When Enlil discovered what his brother had done, he was furious. He saw the rise of human intelligence as a direct threat to Anunnaki control. Humans were supposed to be servants, not thinkers. Their newfound knowledge made them unpredictable, rebellious, and harder to control. So Enlil took immediate action. He ordered the first humans banished from Eden. The Anunnaki carefully controlled environment. You were made to serve, not to seek knowledge. This moment, misinterpreted in religious texts, became the story of Adam and Eve's expulsion from paradise. But in truth, it was not about sin or disobedience. It was about power and control. Enlil wanted ignorant workers. Enki wanted free beings. And that conflict changed the course of human history forever. What does this mean for us today? Were humans designed as a slave species only to break free through Enki's intervention? Is our genetic evolution still unfolding because of the divine spark hidden within us? Could ancient knowledge of our true origins have been deliberately suppressed by later rulers and religious institutions? The deeper we dig into the Anunnaki mystery, the more we realize that history is far richer, more complex, and more mysterious than we ever imagined. But one thing is certain: the truth is still out there waiting to be uncovered. The forbidden knowledge, the tree of life, and the war of the Watchers. When humanity first emerged from the hands of the Anunnaki, they were not meant to possess ultimate knowledge. Yet, as the ancient Sumerian records suggest, something unexpected happened. Enki, the creator and protector of mankind, had already defied his fellow gods once by gifting humans the spark of enlightenment. But this wasn't enough. He saw even greater potential in his creations. In the biblical story of Eden, a cryptic statement is made. The man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. Now he might reach out and take from the tree of life and live forever. This statement suggests that immortality itself was within reach, but deliberately kept away the secret of longevity. Despite the ruling of the Anunnaki High Council, Enki once again rebelled. He secretly modified the genetic makeup of certain humans, bestowing them with longer lifespans than the rest of their kind. These chosen individuals, direct descendants of the gods, became the first rulers, sages, and priests marked by extraordinary longevity. This genetic trait explains the legendary lifespans of figures like Noah, Methuselah, and other ancient patriarchs whose years far exceeded modern expectations. But while Enki sought to empower humanity, another force was about to bring chaos to Earth: the Watchers and the rebellion on Mount Hermon. The 𝐔𝐬𝐬𝐿, a group of lower-ranking Anunnaki, had long been tasked with mining gold on Mars. Over thousands of years, they grew restless and resentful, watching their high-ranking counterparts live in comfort while they labored endlessly. Then something unexpected happened. During a routine resource transport mission, the 𝐔𝐬𝐬𝐿 encountered an enigmatic force known as the Archons, an entity that ignited within them an obsessive desire for human women. Determined to claim Earth's daughters as their own, 200 of these 𝐔𝐳𝐸s swore an unbreakable oath and descended to Earth, landing on Mount Hermon, a site later known as Baalbek, the landing place of the gods. This event, detailed in ancient texts like the Book of Enoch, marks the beginning of one of the most catastrophic upheavals in human history. The 𝐔𝐬𝐬𝐿, now called the Watchers, began taking human wives and teaching them forbidden knowledge, including magic, advanced technology, and the secrets of the cosmos, the birth of the Nephilim, and the rise of chaos. From these unnatural unions, a new species was born, the Nephilim. These beings, part human and part Anunnaki, were giants, towering, powerful, and nearly unstoppable. Their arrival marked an era of destruction. They enslaved and terrorized humans, asserting themselves as demigods, consumed vast amounts of resources, leading to widespread famine and suffering, engaged in genetic experiments, creating monstrous hybrid creatures, chimneys, that defied nature itself. Earth had descended into anarchy. The natural balance had been shattered, and the Anunnaki High Council could no longer stand idly by. Enlil, the ruthless commander, decided that justice must be served. The fall of the Watchers, the first great purge. The 200 rebellious 𝐔𝐬𝐬𝐿, now dubbed the Fallen Angels, were rounded up and brought before the Anunnaki tribunal. Their punishment: exiled to the deepest regions of the earth for 70 generations. They would be imprisoned beneath the surface, forever cut off from their former glory. But even as justice was served, a far greater catastrophe loomed on the horizon. One that would wipe nearly all life from the face of the earth: Nibiru's return and the coming apocalypse. Roughly 12,500 years ago, Nibiru, the mysterious home planet of the Anunnaki, completed another 3,600-year orbit around the Sun. This time, its gravitational pull triggered unprecedented chaos. New Nibiru scientists warned that Earth's climate was about to experience a cataclysmic shift. The polar ice caps melted, ocean levels surged, and unstoppable storms battered the planet. The Anunnaki High Council convened an emergency meeting. The Great Deluge is inevitable. Let it cleanse the earth. Humanity's time is over. A unanimous decision was made. Mankind would not be warned. The flood would be allowed to erase everything. But one Anunnaki refused to accept this fate. Enki's last defiance, saving humanity. Enki, unwilling to watch his beloved creation perish, acted in secret once more. He reached out to one of his most genetically gifted human descendants, Noah, known in Sumerian as 𝐁𝐸𝐿. Enki warned Noah of the coming flood and instructed him to build a massive vessel, one that could withstand the impending disaster. But there was more. This ark wasn't just about saving people. Enki provided Noah with samples of Earth's genetic material, DNA from plants, animals, and select humans to ensure that life could be restored after the deluge. Then the storm came, the Great Flood, and the reset of civilization. As Nibiru's magnetic forces disrupted Earth's stability, tidal waves rose 6 kilometers into the sky, swallowing entire civilizations. Cities were drowned, mountains were leveled. The Nephilim and their monstrous hybrids were wiped out. When the waters finally receded, only a handful of survivors remained. The Anunnaki returned, surveying the wreckage. Civilization had been reset, but mankind was still alive. Yet, the gods had learned their lesson. The next humans must be different. Shorter lifespans, easier to control. Thus, the post-flood civilization was born. A new hybrid species was created, one that would serve the Anunnaki, yet never again threaten their rule. The legacy of the Anunnaki rulers and bloodlines. But not all of 𝐁𝐞𝐲𝐽's original genetic line was lost. The descendants of the divine hybrids were allowed to rule over the new civilization, becoming the first kings and priesthoods. These rulers were granted wisdom directly from the gods, but they too were subject to Anunnaki authority. And so the stage was set. The flood had wiped the earth clean. The gods had reshaped humanity once more, and the bloodline of the ancient rulers had been preserved. Even today, whispers of this divine lineage remain hidden in myths, secret societies, and lost histories. But one thing is certain: the true origins of mankind remain one of the greatest secrets ever concealed. What comes next? Did the elite bloodlines of today inherit knowledge from the Anunnaki? Are humans still subconsciously bound to their ancient creators? Could the return of Nibiru bring another reset? One thing is clear: the past is far more mysterious than we've been told. And the truth, it's waiting to be uncovered.